So we still got a few minutes. We
Yeah.
got 27 watching, and we're live. All right, I think we are now live. I hope so. We'll find out here in just a second. There's about a 30 to a minute delay from what we say and what we see here to what you're actually getting out there live. So if there's a little delay in the answering of the questions, that is why. But we will try to get to every question this evening as we work through it. You have a couple of different options in order to ask questions here this evening. You can put them directly into the live chat feature on YouTube. You may have to, it may ask you to log in, and that's just so that it can show your display name as you ask questions. The other thing is I will add the Google form to this, to the chat so that you can also select that. That Google form is also located. If for some reason you're unable to get access to the chat, we will answer them from there as well. To start off this evening, we have Mr. Jason Gregory, and we will start right at 6 o'clock. So we'll give everybody about another minute to click on here. But he'll start off the evening talking about the manual band and how to join and be a part of that amazing program. So we'll let him speak in just a second. In the meantime, I will get the chat question and answer document up there. And you can also, like I said, access that at the bottom. And my name, I don't even think I've introduced myself. It's Miriam. I am one of the counselors at Manual, and I am going to be your freshman counselor next year. We will also have Mr. Kevin Fowler hopping on here in just a little bit, and he is the YPass counselor who will be working with all YPass freshmen this year. So we will both be here to answer your questions and work through this evening. And it looks like it is right at 6 o'clock. So Mr. Gregory, I will turn the stage over to you.
Yes, thank you so much. Welcome, everyone, and congratulations on coming to Manual High School. We're looking forward to having all of you involved next year. So I'm just going to share my screen here real quick. Bear with me. There we go. All right. So basically, my job on campus is I'm the Manual band director. So I run anything affiliated with the band program at Manual. So if you hear our band out at a football game or in the stands at a basketball game or just at a pep assembly or anywhere, that's sort of one of my main jobs. The other part of my job is I'm the assistant band director at the Youth Performing Arts School. And that's really where I live. My home is there. That's my office. I'm there assisting Mr. Essick all day with the YPass band program. So a couple of things I want to talk to you about. Number one is the Manual High School band itself. And in regard to that, the Manual band website, if you just do a Google search for it, and it's also linked on our Manual school website, but it's just DuPontManualBands.weebly.com. And some students have had interest in auditioning for YPass bands as a non-major for an elective class. So to be clear, at Manual, we don't have a concert band program like that meets during the day for just regular band class. If you want to do that, you would audition for the YPass program as a non-major. And just so you know, we have probably about 30 to 40% of our students are non-majors in the YPass band program, predominantly of the MST and HSU magnets, but I do have on occasion some JNC and VA students. So I just want to kind of give you a heads up on that. Now, we actually already had those non-major auditions. That is the info that you can see here in the scheduling. If you go to the Manual counseling website and then click scheduling, which is where I am now, and it says here, YPass audition information optional. That is where you would go. And what that will do is take you to a Google Classroom. But I also have it linked here on the Manual band website where it says more, and then it says concert band opportunities. And if you scroll down, I've kind of laid out the entire YPass band program in terms of classes, non-majors, what you can take. It also discusses students in the Manual band as well. But anyway, you click right here about scheduling a non-major elective audition. And there's a Google Classroom you're going to join. And this is almost loading. Forgive me for taking a minute. And it's literally called YPass Non-Major Elective Auditions 2021. From there, it gives you sort of a quick synopsis of what you got to do to audition for the concert band program. So we've actually already had these happen. However, we will still accept students if you are interested. I will tell you, though, we do treat you just like a YPass major. We don't really water down the curriculum or change our expectations just because you're not a YPass student. We treat pretty much everyone the same. And all of our students that are non-majors in the YPass program are some of our best performers. So we really had, especially in the MST department, some really great musicians in the band program that come from those other magnets. So that's with the YPass side of band. And then the other thing, again, I want to talk to you about is with the marching band and the manual band itself. So back to that. We are going to host next Monday, May 3rd. So literally just after this weekend. And I've got it highlighted right here over our big photo. This is on the homepage. And it's a Google Meet link. I would love for you guys to attend if you are currently in band at your school. But I will also tell you in the front ensemble up here, you can see in the photo where I'm moving my mouse, I've had students from choir, orchestra, other parts of the campus that maybe they play some drum set or maybe they play a little bit of guitar. And they have joined our front ensemble, which is all the concert percussion instruments that we use with the marching band. And of course, we have the drum line as well. You can see them pictured out there. But in the manual band, I have some students, again, that are in other art forms that have decided to join and learn some of these things, and they have a great time. The other thing I will tell you that I take great pride in is we have all 5 magnets represented in our 70-member band program. So every magnet, we have students from those magnets in the program. They are making it work. They have a good time. They're one big happy family. They do work pretty hard, but they love what they do, and they're very passionate about it. So the manual band performs at basically 4 to 5 home football games. And then we go out to about 5 band competitions throughout the fall. And we also compete in the state competition. And state for us is no different than state for football or state for basketball. So we've been in the Sweet 16 for the last 3 seasons. So within the top 16 bands in the entire state in our class. So it's a pretty good group. But anyway, there's more info there that I will share with you if you just come to this meeting. And we're also always looking for more color guard members. So the color guard is basically the students, male, female, that enhance the show visually. So you can see here, they've got rifles, flags, sabers. They do a lot of dance work. This is from our Winter Guard program, which is sort of a different competitive thing we do. But these guys and gals really enhance what we do on the marching band field visually with the music. So we take great pride in that group. So currently, we have clinics going on for the color guard. And if you go down here to where it says spring clinics on the website, we've already had 2 sessions on the 20th and 27th, but we've got 3 more to go. So you are more than welcome to come to those. If you have any interest in color guard, we'd love to have you. Lastly, the manual band next year, we go every 2 years to Disney World and we perform down there. We march in the parade of the Magic Kingdom and we tour and have fun the rest of the time. So next spring in 2022, we will be traveling back down to Disney, and that also can be found under the marching band tab. And there's a whole thing dedicated to the Disney trip, so you can kind of get a feel for that. Last thing I'll point out, and then I'll hush up, potential new member welcome letter is the first thing here. Click that and read through it. Also frequently asked questions about, hey, how much time does the band program take up? I will also say that we have students that are in multiple activities, sports, other clubs, other activities, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, you name it. They've been able to participate in the manual band and still have time for those other activities. So that frequently asked questions section here, the second tab down, will really help answer a lot of your questions you might have in regards to time commitment. But again, I just encourage you, if you can, join us this coming Monday. Even if you go, I have no idea what marching band is about, I don't think I would like it, just come anyway and check it out and hear me out for 45 minutes to an hour, and hopefully I can convince you that it might be something that you would really enjoy. So I think that's all I have. Thank you, Ms. Miron, and I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gregory, for joining us and sharing all of that information for our students. We'll pause for just a second to see if there's any specific questions for Mr. Gregory that he would need to answer before he heads off here, and then we'll get into more general questions that may occur.
Thank you so much.
And remember, there's a couple of different ways to be able to ask questions. We have the Google form, which is linked in the chat. You can also just chat directly with us. So we will answer them in the chat as well as in live here.
Well, no worries at all. If you have any more questions, just feel free to reach out to me. And like I said, most of the information can be found on the Manual Band website and also on the Youth Performing Arts School Band website.
Oh, there was one question. Does the color guard get to attend the Disney trip also?
Oh, absolutely. They're part of the band. Yeah.
Yeah.
We really want to make sure that every member gets to do that trip. That's important.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then the other question regarding band was about PE. Does marching band count as a PE credit?
If every band director in the state of Kentucky and across the nation had their way, yes, because we work very hard. But we have to protect the integrity of the physical education curriculum and classes. So unfortunately, it does not count for that. But if it did, I would certainly, support it.
And that's true. As of right now, the answer to that is no. We never know what may come through later, but as of right now, the only way to earn that PE credit is through an actual physical education course at this time. So,
and that's pretty much, I think, statewide. I don't think that's just a manual or JCPS thing. Sure.
No, it's a state curriculum thing. So, yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Gregory. Enjoy your Derby weekend. Hopefully the weather's going to turn out a little bit nicer so we can enjoy some of this time. But
all right, have a good weekend. Thank you. Take care.
All right, so we will go ahead and get started with answering some of the other questions. It looks like people have already started popping in and asking questions. So the answer to that PE question is definitely only PE counts for PE credit. If I take PE and health over the summer in a different Kentucky district, will that transfer to DuPont manual? So if you have a transcript with high school credit for health and PE, we will be able to accept that. But it would have to be on a high school transcript from an accredited school. So if you have plans to not be here, or you are coming from another district into Jefferson County for your freshman year, let's reach out and make sure that we have the right credits that are, make sure they're going to transfer and that you're taking the right course in order to do that. Now, just a reminder that for health and PE, you're able to take health and PE over the summer through Jefferson County. It is a online program this year. So if you're considering taking health and PE over the summer, it's an amazing opportunity, thanks to the pandemic, that you're going to be able to take this class online and receive your health and PE credit both online. So you can do it from anywhere in the country. If you're going to be doing that overseas, just make sure that you can access our website in order to complete that. But you can take it wherever you are. So that is another option rather than taking it in a different district.
Another question is, does middle school credit count as high school credit? For example, Algebra 1 in middle school. Would that count as my high school mathematics credit?
So you only receive high school credit for high school courses. If you are in a JCPS middle school, there is potential that you have been taking a high school credited course for Algebra 1. Typically, there's a contract or some sort of form that you sign at the beginning so that you're aware that it is for high school credit. The other way you can identify if it's high school credit is if the course number, when you look into Infinite Campus on your transcript or your report card, shows a 4 in the beginning. So the 4 of those course numbers means it's for high school credit. So the answer to that question can be yes and no. You have to make sure that it is an accredited high school course, and not all high schools are able to offer that for credit for high school.
If we choose to take health over the summer, on the course selection Google form, do we just choose opting to take another year?
Yes, because you're not taking it next year, you're taking it some other time. So just mark that box, and then that will automatically identify or signal to us that you'll be taking an additional elective, which you'll select on the next section.
Who do I contact when we move over the summer? Like which bus that I would need to take?
So you'll be completing enrollment information, and that has been done online this past year, and I think will carry on to online this year as well. If you move over the summer and you already have an address, Miss Sanders is our records clerk. So Miss Anita Sanders would be the person that you would email your new address, and then she would get back into contact with you regarding change of address information that she would need. The bus compound, which you can access them through 485 Ride or online. They have an online system as well where you can access them to be able to find what bus would service your address. You just need to make sure you contact them to let them know you have moved and this is your address.
Is there a math placement test that I need to take?
Yes, so math placement information has been sent out. I believe it came out in a kind of follow-up newsletter on Monday from our original information. Those math placement tests are coming up within the next week, not May 11th, 12th, and 13th, I believe they are. So those placement information is on that document that was sent out on Monday, and they're in May.
If one has received several different high school credits, where should they notify the school about this?
If you're a JCPS student who has received high school credits for one or more courses, we will receive that on your transcript when we start doing scheduling. So we will have that information. If you check your transcript right now, you should be able to see those courses on there, and they should have a 4 on them. So that will identify that they are a high school credit, and they will roll into our transcript once you become a student with us this summer.
If I take health and PE over the summer, can I still be in another state and still be able to take those courses?
Sure, you can be just about anywhere you have internet access and can access JCPS's websites. So you can be anywhere in the country and pretty much in the nation as long as you can access JCPS's websites.
If I got into a YPass class, but I'm not a YPass major, what do I choose on my schedule form?
So on the schedule form, there's a little note that says if you're planning on auditioning for a YPass class or as a non-major, you'll just select a study hall. And then we will replace that study hall with the YPass course once we get that information from the teachers.
Where does the YPass students go for the placement tests?
They'll come to the manual building and all of that information is outlined. I will get that document and put it in the chat so that you have access to that document with all of the information regarding the placement testing and the things you'll need to be aware of and bring and things like that.
Regarding high school credit, what if I'm not coming from a JCPS school?
You would need to receive a high school transcript from your school, and we would work with you independently and privately on getting those credits transferred onto JCPS.
Can I take geography and Spanish in the same year instead of a study skills class?
So each major kind of has a different layout of how they can register for classes. So there is a possibility to be able to take science if you are a YPass, a JNC, or an VA student. There is the option to take both. Just know that we highly recommend all students take a study hall. So please just keep that in mind. And that's kind of why the form leads you that way. But if you would like to take that Spanish and the history class, there's a way to indicate that in the comment section at the end of your Google form, and we'll be able to register you for both.
What's the an example would be, what would be the difference between an honors French 1 and an advanced French 1? What's the difference between an honors and advanced?
So the levels of the languages are going to be your understanding of the language. If you've had a little bit of a French background, you have some French knowledge, then the advanced level is the appropriate level for you. If you and are looking for a little bit faster pace, a little bit more of a challenge. If you are just interested in the language, and don't have any real experience with another language, then the honors level may be the most appropriate course for you. Just make sure that you are kind of following on the 2025 scheduling document. There's a little bit of information on there to kind of help you figure out which level may be appropriate for you.
What is the content covered on the math and English placement exams?
Yeah, so we want you to come into those exams cold. We don't want you to study. We don't expect you to prepare for those in any way. So we want you just to come and sit and take the test and let us know what you know. And the main reason for that is it helps us guide instruction so that we're teaching and providing you with all the information you need to know to have a good foundation in both your math and English courses your freshman year. So it's very important for you to just come in and demonstrate your knowledge rather than trying to cram and study for something. So we don't publish what's on those exams.
If I take health and PE over the summer, does that mean I get another elective?
Yes. So if you take health and PE over the summer, that could mean, depending on your magnet, that you get an additional elective. So that's why we have you list your electives in order of preference 1, 2, and 3. So if you're deferring your health and PE to another time, either this summer or a different year, that would mean in most cases, or some cases, I guess I should say, that you would have 2 electives. So we would add your first choice and second choice into your schedule as long as it fits. So there's a question about how many AP classes can a student take? That is, as a freshman, you have MST freshmen have 2 options. They have the human geography course and they have the AP computer science course. For all other magnets, you have the AP human geography course. So really, as a freshman, you have 1. MST freshmen have 2 opportunities. There are different level or different amounts of classes you could take each year moving forward from that freshman year. So that question, there really isn't a how many can you take? Freshman year, you can only have 1, maybe 2. But moving forward, there are other opportunities for you to get into those AP courses if that interests you. Can JNC students do dual enrollment? So the dual enrollment programs that we offer, there's a couple of different opportunities. Typically your junior and senior year, whether they're classes at Manual High School that are taught by manual teachers who have become accredited by different universities to teach that course at the college level, or you walk over to U of L and take the classes on college campus at U of L. And or potentially JCTC, just depending on the course it is. So there could be opportunities for you to take those courses on campuses and be kind of dual enrolled. And I hope that was the question that you were asking. If not, you can always ask another one. So what happens if you come in, you take the placement test, you've selected one level, and the placement test is saying something different? All that means is that we will recommend, hey, you selected honors English, you came in, you did amazing on your placement test. We think you have the skills and the knowledge to be successful in the advanced English class. We would encourage you to take that. You can say yes, you can say no. So really the placement test is just an opportunity to help us kind of figure out what may be the best level for you.
For an MST student, where do we sign up to take a YPass class, such as piano, and what do we put on the Google form?
So if you want to if you're a YPass student or a non-YPass student, so a non-major student, there is audition information and information on what times and who the teachers are that is on the 2025 document. There's a specific section that says other, and that has the YPass non-major auditions. So you would just click there, get the teacher's information, and contact them regarding what they need for you to audition. On your Google form, you're going to select a study hall, and we will make this selection of the next course or the course for YPass once we get the audition information from the teachers. Let's see.
Can we choose a language as an elective?
So, the elective conversation, this can be very tricky. So, what is an elective? An elective is anything that's not math, science, English, and social studies. And there's a few other things that trickle in there as kind of like core classes. For manual, a lot of our magnet courses are considered electives. But for you as as a VA magnet student, you have your art classes that are required for your magnet. But on your transcript and on like the documents and things, it may say electives. That doesn't mean you get to elect to select them. That just means that under the course description or the definition of what the course is, they may be considered an elective. So, what I like to recommend is making sure your schedule and you have 8 classes every single year. So, you want to make sure that you have selected 8 different things on your schedule form. You also want to make sure that you are following our 4-year scheduling guide. That will help provide you with all of the coursework that you need in order for graduation. And that is also located on that 2025 document. For this year, there's a bunch of little boxes. You can click on that box and kind of blow up your course of study for your freshman year. But there is a 4-year plan of that within the scheduling document and scheduling information. So you can kind of see how we map out to help you meet your graduation requirements as well as your magnet requirements over the course of 4 years. And within there, you'll see that sometimes there are some electives that you can pick. So really anything can go into that elective category as long as you meet the prerequisites for it.
Are students allowed to leave campus for lunch?
No. So once you come to school at 7:40 in the morning, you are not to leave campus for any reason unless your parent or guardian comes to appropriately sign you out and you go with them somewhere. So the only leaving campus, which isn't really leaving campus, it's walking across to YPass, is the only time that you kind of leave the main manual building to walk to YPass, but you are not able to leave for lunch or any other activities unless your parent or guardian comes to get you.
Can a non-YPass student take more than one YPass elective?
Yes, as long as it fits into your schedule, we would just need to have a conversation to make sure you're not replacing core requirements with electives or non-graduation requirements within your schedule. So yes, that is an option, but we would definitely have to have a conversation in order to make sure that it fits appropriately into your schedule. There was another question. Is fencing a sport available at school? I don't think so. I don't think we have a fencing club. But if you're interested in our clubs, we do have on our website, it's called ClubCon. It gives you a little bit of a brief description of all the clubs. Well, not all, a lot of the clubs that we have available at Manual. And I'm sure we are going to be updating that information as things change and we get information from all of the other clubs. So that's just an opportunity for you to look and see what we do have available. But fencing is not a sport at Manual.
How long is lunch?
Lunch is it's a 20-minute lunch with some passing time on either side. So you'll be in the cafeteria for 20 minutes.
How do you take U of L courses if you can't leave?
So the U of L courses and the dual credit opportunities are a little bit different, and we will work with those students your junior and senior year on the rules and the procedures of that. So that's a dual enrollment. You are actually enrolled in both locations. So that is something that we will work with you on the proper procedures and protocols. But you are able to walk to U of L or go to U of L because you're technically following a sign-out procedure to leave campus. There was another question about sports. All of the sports information will be available on our website. So if you're interested in any sports, please make sure that you contact the coach to make sure you're getting the information. So for football, that was one of the questions. Our coach is Coach Scott Carmody. So he would be able to better guide you with any summer opportunities or tryouts or camps or things like that that may be coming up once we get out of school. When will and Mr. Fowler may have the answer to this question, when will the YPass non-majors know if they've made the cut?
It's usually pretty quick because they like to get that information to us and get you on their rosters. So I would say typically not more than 2 days, you'll know whether you have passed the audition.
Yes. And then the teachers will give us that information and we'll make sure it gets appropriately put on your schedule for next year.
Are there any breaks between classes? And if so, how long are they?
So the class exchange time is roughly 5 minutes. So you will have a 5-minute transition period. If you are in the YPass building, you do get an extra minute during that transition. So their transition time is just a little bit longer to get back over to manual. But the 5 minutes is the typical transition time within the manual building.
How do I sign up for a club?
So clubs, you would contact the sponsor directly. So if you're interested in a club or organization that we have available, you would need to contact that sponsor to get the information on signups, any information that they need, or auditions or any prerequisites that you may have. So the club sponsor would be your go-to person to register and sign up for club activities.
Will our electives change throughout the year?
No. So with the exception of health and PE. So your courses at manual, we have an alternating A-B schedule. So you have a red day and you have a white day. And on each day, you'll have 4 classes that stay consistent throughout the entire year from August until May or June, depending on our snow. So you'll have those same classes the entire time. Now, the exception is health and PE. Health and PE is offered in 2 different semesters. So you could have, or you will have health 1 semester and PE the 2nd semester. There are a couple of other classes that you will have available to you as you get older that will kind of switch names, and the content will be a little bit different from one semester to the next, but you are registering for the whole course for the year from August until May.
When should one contact the coaches of the sports and club sponsors?
So typically they'll have that information available to you. So the club sponsors, definitely not until August because clubs don't necessarily meet over the summer. But for sports, especially fall sports, you would need to make sure you're contacting the coach probably now, just to let them know you're interested and so that you can get on their email correspondence to find out if there's any activities or things going on over the summer months. For the winter and the spring sports, those don't happen until a little bit later. Obviously, the winter sports are typically starting around that November timeframe. And the spring sports are typically, obviously in the spring semester. So you'll need to make sure that you contact them prior to that. But definitely, if you're interested in a fall sport, such as football, please make sure you contact them soon so you can get that information. If you want to take a YPass class in theater, so there are a couple of non-major theater courses that are available to students, and those do not require audition. So the courses that require audition are listed on the non-major audition form, but drama is not one of those.
Do they have time to go back and forth from YPass to manual?
Yes, so that time we'll give you there. And Mr. Fowler,
Yeah, that's okay. So parents, regardless of what you hear, your kiddos can make it on time. All right. I'll get a few phone calls every year. They just can't do it. They just can't do it. Okay. They can do it. They've got to move the motor a little bit, get it going. And you can't stop and chat very much when you're going from, and especially the YPass Annex, which is one more parking lot over from YPass itself. But they absolutely can. I can do it, and I'm not in good shape. So I can make that walk, and even if it's on, the third floor over at Manual, they absolutely can make it. All right, they just have to adjust, and it's probably the longest walk they'll have made in their young high school experiences or school experiences. But look at it this way: it's also good prep work for college when they're walking across those massive campuses. But they can do it. It may look impossible, but everyone figures it out. That's a good question, though.
Are there any non-majors for drama, like drama auditions?
Yes, most of the auditions, especially after the early August, the auditions are open to the entire school. So just kind of pay attention to announcements, and we'll try to get that information out there through flyers and in your Google Classroom. But the auditions, like the musical and the big productions. Now the workshops, a lot of them may not be unless you're part of that class. But certainly the big productions, anyone can audition.
So there's another question about health and PE. It's health and PE two separate classes because my student has already completed health at their middle school at the or high school level. So yes, the answer to that question is yes. There are two separate classes, so you have to register for them as two separate things. So if you only need half for whatever reason, then you would just register for that half. So if you are already completed your health credit from the middle school, and a couple of middle schools do offer that at the high school level, then yes, you would register for PE only, and it is separate.
And that just brings up a good point, parents, as far as health. And there are a couple of middle schools that offer Spanish as well. So just be very aware if your child is taking a class for high school credit in middle school, make sure you let us know. Because sometimes those middle school credits don't get placed on their transcript in a timely manner. Not that they're not going to get that credit, they will, but sometimes we do not have that information at our fingertips. Okay, so please let us know if your child gets a health credit, sometimes a Spanish credit. I'm not aware of PE credits for middle school. I think it's just health and Spanish I've heard of.
And there's occasionally those math credits as well. So that is another one that pops in there as well for those middle school credits. So dance is a PE credit. So for our YPass dancers, our YPass musical theater majors, and anybody that takes fundamentals of dance, that is going to fulfill your PE credit, but you do have to take health. So health would have to be taken another year. Or it could be taken your freshman year one semester, and then you would have a study hall the second semester, or you can take it online over the summer. So there's a couple of different options to get that health credit, but yes, dance does count. So our dance majors, our musical theater majors, as well as anybody that takes FOD or fundamentals of dance will get that PE credit.
And fundamentals of dance is actually a year-long class, however. Okay, so keep that in mind. You will take that for the entire year, where PE is just one semester.
So we've had a question. How does the first day work? Well, the first day works just like the third day, because the second day is going to be a different color day, so it will look a little different. But the first day is just going to be a regular day of school. We will attend our homerooms typically in the morning. You'll get a copy of your schedule, and you'll go on about your way. Or you may go to your first block class and then receive a copy of your schedule, and then go on about your way. So we will provide you with some information in order to be able to navigate the day. One thing that is very important at Manual High School, and once you get into high school, is having access to your Infinite Campus portal. This is very, very important, not only for knowing your schedule the first day of school, but also for keeping up with your grades, and being able to identify any concerns before it gets too late, because you can always address those concerns or errors in your grade along the way. But once they're finalized on your transcript, that becomes a little bit more challenging. So just make sure that you have access to your Infinite Campus and not your parents' Infinite Campus. You need access to your student portal, because that's where you're going to be able in the future to register for your classes and all of those type of things.
How long is each class, and how does the red and white days alternate?
So we will start the school year on one color day. For example, if we started our school year on a red day, our first day of school would be red, and you would see all 4 of those teachers on your red day. On the second day of school would be a white day. You would see all 4 of your teachers for your white schedule on that day. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 always. So I know some schools have a little bit of a rotating schedule, but ours is always 1, 2, 3, 4. And it rotates red, white, red, white. So we kind of refer to our weeks as red weeks or white weeks. And that's just because throughout a 5-day week, you'll have potentially 3 red or 3 white classes during that week, and the other 2 being the other colors. So it's always alternating red, white, red, white, red, white. So Mondays aren't always a certain color, or Tuesdays aren't always a certain color. They always alternate. And our classes, how long are our classes? Our classes are 90 minutes each. So you'll be in each class for 90 minutes. You'll have a 5-minute transition, and then you will go to your next block class.
Do we have to get our picture taken for our IDs?
That will happen within the Crimson opportunities, the Crimson Day opportunity that we have coming up in August, or it will happen within those first couple of days of school. So yes, we will get your picture taken for your IDs, but that happens at school. It's not something that you have to do from a professional studio or go to a certain place to get it. We will take care of that at school.
Are there other half-credit classes offered during the school year if a student has already taken health but wants to take PE during the school year?
So you would back that up with a study hall. So we don't offer any courses that you could just come into for half and leave and get that content. So you would back that up with a study hall. So you would have health or you would have PE one semester, and then the study hall the second semester. Now, I did want to mention this year for JCPS students, for sure, they are offering health and PE to our JCPS students. So, and it is online. So that is something to consider as you're kind of looking at that health if you already have one, or looking at PE if you already have the health credit. So that might be a great opportunity for you moving forward. So that fee that you see will be waived for JCPS students.
And just going back to the PE online, we're not sure how long Jefferson County High School is going to offer that course. So if you're the kind of student who really does not want to take the physical PE and you would like to take that course online, we highly recommend you go ahead and sign up for that as soon as possible. Because again, they're only offering that because of the pandemic. And in the past, you would have to have some kind of major health issue to be able to take PE online. So again, I think it's pretty good through the summer, but we're not sure if they'll offer it next fall or not.
Yes, and I think that was a pandemic gift because typically, like Mr. Fowler said, that is not something that is available online over the summer. Now, typically they do offer it during summer school, but in the past that has always been in person. So how do you sign up for a study hall? So within each Google form, there the elective options, study hall should be listed under one of the elective options within the Google form. So depending on what magnet you're in, kind of depends on where those electives fell. But it's kind of one of the last things that you'll see as you're working through the Google forms. So if you do PE over the summer, you will have health for one semester, and then you will have a study hall for the second semester. Now, if you are going to do that, please let me know. The semester that you are supposed to have the other option, please let me know that you need the study hall. Our computer system will automatically log you into that other half of the course. So it's very, very important for you just to remind me that you already have that credit and to plug that study hall in for you for second semester. It's an easy fix, but sometimes we miss some of those that only need half. So just make sure you keep track of that and look at your schedule for second semester ahead of time so we can make those adjustments if needed.
And parents, this may be one of the first important discussions you have with your 8th grade students right now is this discussion of study skills. It's not like the study hall that we had 20, 25 years ago. Giving you away my age here. But study skills is very important. It's I think it fits in the overall concept of this high school education at Manual High School. It's pretty intense here. Kids tend to do very well, but a lot of kids, and I would say most kids, will take a study skills, and especially in this 9th grade year. Without that study skills, the student will be taking 8 courses a year. That's a lot of courses. And so I just highly recommend that they take study skills. There's an opportunity to get some tutoring during study skills. And you can just be kind of creative with that. Sometimes if teachers have a matching planning period that you may have, you might be able to go to their classroom and get some specific help from that teacher. I can tell you my oldest son here, when after he was a freshman, his senior year, he took AP Calculus. I have no idea why he took AP Calculus, but he took it, and he wasn't very strong in math. However, during his study skills, his teacher actually taught AP Calculus when he had study skills, and sometimes he would go to his class and sit through class again. Seems like torture, but that's what he wanted to do, and it helped him to understand AP Calculus. So again, study skills is very important, and we can be very creative on the kinds of things we do to support students during their study skills time.
Yes, that is study skills is huge, and it's very important to make sure that you're balancing your schedule, and it gives you some great opportunities. And not only just to say you have a study skills and to do your homework, but there's also some amazing resources like Mr. Fowler was referring to that you can tap into during that time as well. For clubs and organizations, Manual has more clubs and organizations than every high school combined that I've worked in. So there was a specific question about a specific club, and I'm not 100% sure which clubs are active, especially because we've been on this weird pandemic mode for a little over a year now. So the active club list will be provided to all students and will be published out there within the first couple of right as school starts back. So in August, we will get that information out publicly, and you can go on and see which clubs and organizations are available to join. So I just highly recommend, if you're interested in a particular club or organization, to keep a lookout for that information in August. So there are lots of different options for completing the PE credit if you do have health limitations. So Mr. Fowler kind of referred to this, that, kind of the only way in the past that you've been able to do PE online was if you had some sort of medical or limitation that would prevent you from completing the regular PE. But if you have some sort of special circumstances, we will work with you on getting that PE requirement completed. We will adapt and modify the activities so that you can participate to your fullest level, no matter what you have going on. So we will definitely take care of you and make sure that you are safely going to get that credit for graduation.
If I take health and PE over the summer, can I take fundamentals of dance as my elective?
Sure, you can take fundamentals of dance. That's not a problem. So you already have your health and PE credit, but if you are interested in taking FOD and fundamentals of dance, please sign up for it. That's an amazing elective for you to have. You could just do health over the summer, and then the FOD would count for your PE credit. So if you're planning on taking FOD, you could just do the health half over the summer. Your FOD, your fundamentals of dance course, would count for your PE credit. And then by the end of your freshman year, you would have completed that health and PE requirement. So either taking both over the summer and then taking FOD, or taking just health and then FOD is PE, are two very good options for you if you're interested in that dance program.
Does the study skills class have an assigned teacher to supervise?
Oh, yes. Yes, there will be an assigned teacher. So the teacher will just not be teaching curriculum. But yes, all of our study skills classes are supervised by a certified teacher. They kind of rotate amongst the different departments depending on what block it is and what availability the teacher has. But yes, a certified teacher will be in the class. They just don't provide direct instruction or study skills content during that time. The study skills is strictly a study hall or opportunity to get help through some of our other opportunities, such as the MAC, and then some of the other resources that we have available for help, or just to do your homework. But there is a certified teacher.
And let me add to that, study skills again, YPass students take advantage of study skills frequently by using our practice rooms during that time. Now, there are rules, to get to use the practice room. If you're an instrumentalist, you're a singer, the practice rooms are typically full, first block through fourth block every day, with students who just use that time. Maybe they don't have homework that day, or they're finished with their homework, so they use their study skills to come over and practice in the YPass practice rooms. It's a great use of these study skills by using that practice time for YPass students.
Yes. So in the chat, I have just added the information document that we've kind of been referring to throughout this entire presentation, which is the class of 2025 scheduling document that is available to you. You should have received that through email. It's also on our website. But that document has all of the information on health and PE and how to register, how to take care of that under the other information section. So there's a button that says health and PE summer school. You would select that, and then that gives you how to register for that summer school program. So all of that information is on the document I just added to the chat.
If my student has Algebra 1 now and gets credit, should she pick geometry on the Google form? And how does that impact testing?
So yes, if you've already received your Algebra 1 credit, you would need to select your geometry course because that's the next progression. Your placement test will just kind of help guide us and make sure that we are teaching the content that's needed for the students in that geometry course for those that need that. So the placement test may help us determine or advise you for an appropriate level or something along those lines. But definitely still take the placement test. It's not just for Algebra 1. All students should take that test no matter what.
Are we allowed to use our phones during study skills?
That is really a teacher by teacher basis. So some teachers have specific policies regarding technology, and other teachers allow you to use it as long as you are doing something educational. So that is definitely the rules and expectations of each teacher will have to be followed during those study hall times as well.
Is there a dance or cheer team?
Yes. So we have the Dazzlers as well as a cheerleading team. So both of those are options at Manual. That is under the athletic information on our website. So contact those sponsors in order to get information on any activities over the summer or anything you need to do to prepare for auditions or tryouts. They would be tryouts for sports. Yeah. So there's another study skills question. Study skills is offered every year, and you can take study skills every year and still be able to graduate in 4 years with all of your requirements. So if you look at that 4-year course of study for every magnet, that does provide you with an outline, and you can see that study skills can be fit into your 4-year course of study and still meet all graduation requirements. Boys volleyball. That's a really great question. I honestly don't know if we have boys volleyball. I don't think so. But there's clubs, like I said, that may not be a sport that is considered a KHSAA sport that we offer, but there may be clubs and things like that for volleyball that boys can participate in. So that would be something to kind of just inquire about in August. If we have not answered, we have about 5 minutes left. If we haven't answered your question, please go ahead and repost that in the chat. Sometimes that chat gets going so fast that we miss a few, or if you need some clarification on anything that we tried to answer, but it wasn't clear enough, please let us know. We're getting a little bit better at this virtual thing and just staring at ourselves, but it's still awkward and weird. So sometimes we lose some things in translation as we're working through multiple documents and multiple things happening at the same time.
Where can we find staff information? For example, their emails.
So all of that information is on our website under the DuPont Manual website under staff. Our staff emails are very similar to your middle school staff emails. It's typically always first name dot last name at jefferson.kyschools.us, with a few exception of individuals that may have hyphenated and or double last names. Sometimes those get a little bit tricky when it comes to putting them in specifically. So it is available on our website if you need to get in contact with a teacher.
Are they able to replay this video?
Sure. Yeah. No. Yes, it will be available for you. It's kind of we will post this out there on our website under the scheduling information. So both of these sessions you can gain access to there. Actually, this video from the link that you have, you can always click on this YouTube link and it will take you right back to this video so that you can replay it and watch it as often or frequently as you would like. But if there is a specific question that you feel like you need or you need an answer to, I highly recommend just going to that Google form and completing that Google form, and we will be happy to get back with you. That is why we compiled a kind of follow-up information that we sent out this week, and we will continue to do that through the scheduling process and as you go into next year with frequently asked questions or things that maybe need some clarification, because a lot of people have asked that question. We'll make sure to get that information out. So via that method.
Would the parents ever have an opportunity to meet the teachers and counselors?
There is in person. That's a really great question. So right now, this is how you get to see us via a screen. We are happy to answer any questions or do anything like that. There are parent-teacher conferences that happen in the fall. We are going to be offering, hopefully, a Crimson Day activity in the fall, so the students can get a tour of the building and meet some of their teachers that they'll have. So there's a couple of different opportunities to get to connect with faculty at school, and hopefully our open house that's happening in the fall will be able to be in person so that you can be in our building, but we have yet to have all of that information with guidance provided so that we can make good decisions on how we'll be able to offer those opportunities.
How should JCPS students contact sport coaches if their email isn't in the JCPS format?
I guess it depends on the sport. So on Zoom, on our website, there is an athletics tab. And it does list the coaches on there. So you should be able to access the coaches' contact information from there. Our athletic director is also available. His information is on our website. He would be the go-to person to be able to contact to get coaching information, as he has the most up-to-date list of athletic coaches.
How long do clubs usually last?
That all depends on the club. Some clubs are just semester clubs, depending on what activities they do. So it may just be a fall, it may be a spring. Typically, most clubs meet kind of once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks or once a month throughout the entire school year. So it really depends on the club and what the club is doing in order to know when they meet and how often they meet. But typically, it's, the commitment is probably once a week for most clubs and organizations. So it looks like we are right at the end of our session this evening. I greatly appreciate all of the participation and coming to listen to us this evening. It's always a little awkward to have to do it this way. We really do love having everyone come together and be a part of this opportunity and to get to meet you and see you in person. But we were so glad to be able to offer a little bit of in person, although the participation was a little different this year. So we really do appreciate you coming. If there are additional questions or concerns, please make sure that you fill that Google form out with information or questions, and we will make sure that we get that information back out to you. So thank you so much. It looks like one quick question popped in about technology. Each class handles technology different. As of right now, most students are carrying around a device in order to access classroom materials and things like that. So yes, most teachers have become more accustomed to having those devices in the classroom and providing you that information electronically and digitally. So that is something that is handled on a case-by-case basis. So thank you guys so much. We're going to end this session this evening. And welcome to Manual. We're so excited for you guys to be here.